Video is good. One viewer so far on Twitch. I'm assuming that's Wild.
Nope. Not
Nope.
me.
Oh, not you. Okay, cool. People are already interested. Okay.
A couple of the ball tuckers jump on it occasionally.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get this started, guys. What's up, game geeks and tech junkies? Welcome to A Gaming Moment, a weekly podcast about everything gaming and streaming related, including the news, tech, and software behind it. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram so you can engage with us, as well as find out when we're streaming the podcast and get a first listen before it goes out across all of your favorite podcasting platforms. I'm Dagan07, and with me is WildTwinsFan, and this week we have a special guest, Kyle Doran of TheNetVR. Welcome in, Kyle. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good. Yourself?
Not too bad. Wild, how you doing this week?
I'm good.
Awesome. So we brought Kyle in. Kyle's kind of a subject matter expert on just VR and AR and the whole metaverse in general. And he has his own definition of metaverse, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. But Kyle, first tell us about the NetVR. You know, what's your goals, your plans, your aspirations? What is it that the company does? You know, what are you guys looking forward to doing, bringing the world? What kind of products?
Our main number one goal right now is bridging that 3D space. We're really looking for content creators right now to help us. So, I mean, as yourselves, you guys are both decent, really good content creators. Ran into you guys in the metaverse space, and we're looking to add more right now. So, our first application basically bridges 2D platforms that are already out there, such as any live streaming platform with this new 3D space. The 3D space that we generally call it is a theater. So it looks like a theater, and you can jump in, you can talk, communicate with the people inside that are also watching the same content creator that you're currently watching. And that's kind of our first step into the virtual reality world or metaverse world. And that's our product.
Awesome. So you did say you're looking for streamers. So you guys are running an influencer program, if I do recall. I believe if you go to, is it the netvr.com or is it the netvrstream.com that you can go sign up for the influencer program?
So originally we had two products when we first started out back in 2019. We started creating our own platform, to kind of compete with the other full platforms. Content creators are like, no, there's no way we're using your platform. I'm good here. I love this area, but we really still wanted to focus and bridge that 3D space. And the 3D space doesn't care where you're streaming. So we figured out a way to just allow you to stay on your platform. And so the netvr.com has the application link to the NetVR theater. And that's that 3D space that we're really trying to push. And then NetVR Stream is a streaming platform that you can use. I wouldn't use it because there's not much server power behind it compared to some of the big guys. But you could use it if you wanted to. If you have an RTMP connection, you can stream up to it, and a couple of people use it from time to time.
Awesome.
Okay. So I see, generally people will attach their Twitch stream to it, and you can come in and check out the stream in the theater, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah, our main goal, we basically built our minimum viable product in the business world. It's kind of like right before your alpha. We submitted it out there, and people started just kind of using it, and they're like, yeah, this is really cool. Like, I'd love to be able to get a couple people in there, a couple users. It just gives the different vibe once you start getting that 3D theater instead of just being an icon in a chat wall. Once you get that 3D character out there, people are like, dude, this is really cool. This is like next level. A lot of people are excited to be able to use it. We're really excited for the next steps.
Yeah, I've been honored to kind of be in part of the dev calls and stuff with this. And it's been really fun to watch the evolution over the past 12 to 18 months that I've kind of been just a power user and giving my opinion of it and whatnot, just from being in the industry so long. And the ability to have like this movie theater style environment where you can meet and collaborate with other viewers is really cool. It really helps build the community of that particular streamer in there. And I think, I see the full potential of, where it's going to go, how you're going to be able to monetize it with like, potentially NFTs and avatar skins and things like that. And, the dev behind it is really, really good. The whole platform is just, it's been really cool. Like I said, just to watch it grow. I was there kind of in the early, like, not quite MVP days, but
you were like pre
MVP, where the renders were very, very rough and geometrical and stuff.
I have to say, I jumped into a stream today just to kind of check it out, and I was actually a little bit shocked at how good the quality of the stream was, like on the screen. Like I expected it to be a little bit like lower quality or something, and it was crisp and nice. I mean, I was impressed. I wasn't sure what to expect because I know you guys aren't fully rolled out. You're still kind of growing and ironing some bugs out. But man, I mean, at least that polish was really nice, and it was easily watchable, and it was pretty neat. So
we really focused. That was one of the main things we focused on, was making sure that the stream was crisp. And the way our application set up, it's super clever in the way we set it up, and where you're connecting to isn't fully through us. So it's super clever in the background details and the way we've done it. We use the power that's already out there in the virtual reality world, and we're not reprocessing anything. And that's one of the really clever things about our application, our development. It was something that kind of went hand in hand with like even days earlier, points. Hey, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving my platform. Like, yeah, you have a new platform, but I'm not going to go over there. I'm not going to do that. So when we refocused, we kind of looked back and we said, hey, like, how can we redo this? And we were able to maintain when we went back to the drawing board and figure out, hey, how to be connected to the other platforms. It really allowed us to be able to keep that quality up in the streams.
Yeah. And that's really smart too, because even when you look at Twitch and YouTube and streaming and Facebook as streaming platforms, they're tiny compared to, even, an off-brand network, on TV and stuff like that. They don't have the reach. They don't have the viewers. And that was an amazing choice for you guys.
Yeah, and it was good that you guys actually, backed off from actually creating the platform, because I mean, let's face it, you're going against you'd be going against monsters in that space, instead, build something upon, build upon that experience that the viewers have already on those platforms, and just draw those viewers in. They're not changing anything. They don't have to sign up for anything new. They can basically just log in. You log into the to the theater using their Twitch account, so that they show up in the person's stream, and then it's good to go. So I'm glad that you guys basically made an about face on that aspect, because I think that could have been a lot of wheels spinning and cycles spent, and then you have to you guys were looking for people with a particular set of skills to maintain that asset as well, and you guys just weren't finding it, and there's a budget aspect in that as well, and you guys refocused, and it turned out really good. So with all that being said, what does VR mean to you? What does VR mean to the NetVR?
Well, so we talked about this earlier, and virtual reality, when we started in 2019, we were like, hey, we want to create a virtual reality mall. We're gonna do it. We sat down at the table and we were like, wow, this is a huge undertaking for 3 human beings to try and do. Which led us, when our first asset that we bought actually was a mall with a theater attached to it. So we said, hey, maybe we could do something with the theaters. We started going back to research. Big screen was there. We went, tried big screen. It didn't work. It was kind of the original big screen beta. And so, and then we tried VR headsets. So we put our VR headsets on early on. And then we said, hey, time out. Like, what is the virtual reality space really? And we took a hard look at it. And we figured out, hey, where did it come from? So we tracked it all the way back to the 1950s. A bunch of government spending. The original VR headset came from a helicopter pilot that used a camera that tracked night vision. That's where virtual reality equipment came from. The 90s rolled around, and Jared Lenar, big guy, one of the big credits to really drive virtual reality, linked three components together, and that was the 3D space, equipment, the headsets, and then immersion. So hey, you're fully immersed in this virtual reality world. That's the VR that we live in today, and that's the VR that's rehashed over and over and over again, and it hasn't really taken off. I'll go back to the statistics. VR headset usage is in the seconds, while computer and phone usage is in the hours per day per U.S. citizen. It's tiny. It's a very tiny, and most VR headsets end up in a closet. They do. It's not the primary hardware that the average user uses to connect to the virtual reality world. So, having said that, that's when we started to say, hey, okay, what does it really mean? What does reality really mean? Let's break it down in definitions for people to understand. And reality is three elements. It's space, which virtual reality is still space. It's that 3D space. But then it's also time and matter. So the matter's kind of easy. It's just bits. We're all here talking. We're displaying bits in a virtual reality world. We're displaying it out there. But the time is super important, because if most of the virtual reality that we consume every day is past time, like you're looking at an old photo, or you're looking at a Photoshop photo, or you're looking at something past, with new like Twitch and live streaming and live content, people can really reconnect. And that's one of the reasons I think these live platforms are growing so quickly, so quickly, is it really brings back that live connective time. Now the question is, a lot of people get into it and they're like, well, what do we do here? Is this really live? Is this
100% live, guys? Telling you right now, it's 100% live.
100% live at the moment.
Which is the best time. Like that is the coolest time, that you can share the experience at the same time, instead of just looking at an old picture of somebody. So we really focused in on our virtual reality of having those three concepts of 3D space, live time, and bits, which is in matter. And that's our definition of virtual reality.
Yeah, it's funny when you brought up like the 90s. For me, like that was in the 90s that there was a show called VR Troopers. I don't know if you guys remember that back in the day. It was like the off-brand Power Rangers to me. And I was a huge Power Rangers fan. And that was my introduction to VR, where it was basically these three people that they would fight crime in a virtual reality space. And that was kind of the notion that I got for VR, and that's kind of been like my mindset when I think about VR is, you have a virtual space, and then even more recently we've had some crazy movies come out about VR, like Ready Player One and even the new Matrix movie in certain aspects. Free Guy, if you will, the new Ryan Reynolds movie, my man crush doing that. And
Love
then,
Free Guy.
Yeah, and then so it's really cool, and I think for you in your space, I think it's really cool that you're starting to see this whole metaverse virtual reality thing just kind of blow up more and more, literally over the past 3 years, basically since 2019, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to that. So a little bit of like, what is the metaverse to you, and where do you see it really coming to society? Like, it's we said VR has kind of been the 50s, but when this metaverse, like right now it seems like everyone's this buzz that, oh, the metaverse is coming, or the metaverse is new, and it's like, is it though? So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so we'll shift. Metaverse is very interesting. I see it as a rebrand. I personally see it as a complete rebrand. VR goes in hype cycles about every 3 to 4 years. So Oculus really was the last hype cycle. That company was killing it in a way that a lot of people didn't see. They saw the hardware, right? Everyone focused in on that old 90s. It's this equipment. It's this headset equipment. Oculus killed it in a different way, and a lot of people don't know it. And it was the software that came behind Oculus. It was the Oculus rooms. It was the how to play. Like, it was the software. It goes back to that Microsoft IBM war. Facebook bought Oculus for the equipment and thinking they would get in that way. It didn't pan out, because if you go back and look at the headset usage, it's so small. Well, they made a huge investment in Oculus, and so now they kind of linked to it, and they've kind of really floundered it. So in order to get a hype cycle back, they got to rebrand, and that's exactly what they did. They just rebranded as Metaverse. It's
Meta.
not really, or Meta. Well, I think they tried to rebrand their company as well, because they wanted to be like Alphabet is to like Google.
Yeah. With subsidiaries and stuff below.
With subsidies subsidiary companies. But really, the whole metaverse concept is no different. It's a synonym to cyberspace, virtual reality, whatever else you want to call it, the internet, Web3. They're all the same term for the same kind of thing that Second Life was, that Half-Life Alyx kind of is. There's so many different programs that have tried to like.
It's a
VPL research. It's just a new buzzword. It 100% is a new buzzword. And in my opinion, it helps. It gets investment money flowing. Like, that's for sure. we see the money flowing. I mean, it doesn't flow to the little guys, but I see it flowing around up in the big guys space. So it's moving. I don't know where it's going to move to.
Yeah, we noticed that you noticed that you mentioned the stats of, you know, the usage of headsets compared to other devices is in the seconds per person in the United States. But so many companies are investing in this physical equipment and everything. You know, are headsets viable to use compared to a mobile device? Do you think people like Oculus, Meta, you know, HTC, who creates the Vive, you know, Steam, even PlayStation, do you think they should be integrating more with mobile devices versus trying to create new devices that, like you said, are just going to go sit in a closet?
I would challenge anybody that's in the headset kind of device market can you do something drastically different than you can't with a cell phone right now? And I challenge you, because every time I've seen, like, you know, I work a day job, and the NetVR is my side hustle and my side project and my passion. But my company's tried to do headset integration, and it just doesn't take off, because it's like, I got a phone, I could do the same thing, just not stuck to my face or my head and messing with my biological, you know, senses, right? I think one thing we talked about earlier was, you know, when you put something on your head, you're linking two biological feelings together: your balance and emotion, or your balance feelings and your eyes, and they don't work that way. So VR sickness, granted, how long they want to say, hey, we've upped the resolution, and they haven't really addressed the root cause, and that's really the inner ear. And the reality is, why carry something around on your head? Like, it's hard enough to get people to wear glasses. I mean, you guys both wear glasses, but like, most people, you don't want to wear contacts, and contact lens technology is way, way, way out there.
Oh yeah. So for me, you know, I live in the fourth largest city in the United States. I live in Houston, and we're starting to see more and more VR gaming complexes come in. And then, of course, you know, we see it all over TikTok and YouTube Shorts, and, you know, where you know, people are making fun of people. You know, they're playing on a VR device. they're standing on like a wooden, like a balance beam kind of deal. Somebody comes and pushes them, they end up falling. It's funny from the outside looking in, but you could seriously hurt somebody in that, and that's there's a safety aspect when it comes to VR in that aspect as well. And Wildy and we both have Oculus Quest 2s. We love them. I think there is a place for headsets, like especially in the sim worlds. Wild has,
but true to form, I don't think our use time is very much, because I don't use mine very much, and you don't use yours all that much. I mean, it's kind of a novelty thing I'll jump into.
Mm-hmm. My wife and son use it more than I do.
So I would be careful. Headsets have, so I've said kind of a lot of negative things about the equipment aspect, but headsets do have a usage. They are driving therapeutic discoveries. Is like, that's a prominent thing that they're doing. Like, people can do crazy therapies, like giving a little kid a shot where it's a bee sting. Like, hey, like there's a ton of good that full enclosed virtual reality, full immersion virtual reality that headsets provide. That is a good thing. But at the same time, most of the stuff that you can do in a VR headset, you can do on a cell phone right now. And primarily people, the vast majority, the proof is kind of in the statistics, where just develop the 3D world, develop the software, and make it device agnostic. And we talked about that earlier, but that's really where the primary goal comes down to. Don't get me wrong, headsets are cool. They're cool as hell.
Yeah, but I like them. Like, Wildy has a whole racing setup that he uses his VR headset for, that he'd like to use more. But and like you said, there's a time and place. Doctors are using it to virtually perform surgeries, to learn how to do surgeries and stuff, without actually hurting anybody, or they there's a lot more leeway for mistakes. Race car drivers, and like I was saying about Wildy's stuff, so there is a time and place for it, but I think for the vast majority of consumers, it's not there yet. Like, I think about traveling with mine, right? Because fortunately, the Quest 2, you don't have to be tethered to a computer to play games like the 95% of the other headsets that are out there. And I think that's where the Quest 2 really stood out in the market, and that's where it became really popular, because you don't need a PC with like a 3080 to run VR.
That was my limiting factor to buy into VR, was I have to be cordless. That's just, I don't want cords. That just takes that much more out of the immersion.
Experience.
Yeah. 100% agree. That was one of Oculus's big things, is they were cutting the cord, and I think that's why Facebook kind of picked them.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Pretty wicked though. I don't know if you guys have done flight sim in VR. It is unreal. It is unreal. I didn't get sick. I do get a little bit of nausea, but I don't. I'm not like a real queasy person. So, but even at that, I do. I have a Mario Kart type game. It's Dash Dash World. That actually makes me a little bit sick. I don't like some of my earlier VR experiences, if you want to call them that. We go to the mall, or the Mall of America had these. They had the Magic Mystery Mine Ride or whatever, and they put you in seats, and they buckle you in, they bang you around, and you do this, and it's like half the immersion was just banging you off of stuff. Those will make me sick. I cannot do those anymore. The last one I went on with my wife, I'm like, that is the last bang around VR immersion thing I can ever do, because I will lose it. But yeah, that's not immersion to me. That's I don't know. It's terrible. But yeah. But just flying an airplane, like the wife and I went and saw Niagara there a couple years back. And so I put her in an airplane, I put the VR headset on, and I flew us over Niagara. And even at that, the graphics weren't fully updated for the Microsoft 20, flight's been updating stuff as they go. It was still absolutely amazing to see something that you were at ground level to fly in an airplane, and you know, it's real data, it's real pictures, it's real satellite imaging and stuff like that. And it was like, it's such a neat way to see or to put yourself in a spot. So
It's all about the experience.
neat. Yeah,
it totally like you hit it on the park. Like it's all about that experience. Like, do you actually have to be there to really get the full immersion and full effect? Like virtual reality puts that in question. Like at least for me, I think some people still really want that real experience. But I mean, think you could fly next to the pyramid. Like you can't fly next to the pyramid. Like you'll get shot down. Like you're not gonna be able to do that. But you can now do that in the virtual reality world. One thing you kind of hit on, and maybe we're kind of going back before we get on to the next topic is one thing we're really trying to do and keep focus is this virtual reality versus real reality and meshing the two together so people can have that experience that you just talked about where, hey, I've actually been to Niagara Falls. Now you can go in and as we build our world or our metaverse or our virtual reality world, you can fly over those places or you can visit those things. You can, go to Central Park in New York. You don't actually have to fly and be there. You can go see Pier 39 in San Francisco. But all those experiences can be unique.
Yeah, so guys, if you've been enjoying the podcast and would like to support us so we can keep creating more content, we've got a Patreon that you can visit at patreon.agamingmoment.com. Become a patron and gain exclusive benefits such as early access to episodes, monthly AMAs, and an additional monthly bonus episode. So sign up today. So moving on to the next topic here, Kyle. It looks like PlayStation. I know you mentioned something about PlayStation right before we started recording here, but PlayStation's doubled down on VR even with the PS5. Is Sony going in the wrong direction? And is Microsoft missing out on a market? Or do you think they could be getting in the market now that they're acquiring Activision, Blizzard, and King Games, King Games is a huge mobile developer?
I think you already kind of answered the question. I think Microsoft did a really good turn. Right, gaming in general is 3D. It's mostly live. Like we all play the first person shooters where we're live tagging other friends. So I think Microsoft did a good move picking up the what was it, Blizzard?
Activision Blizzard.
Activision Blizzard. I think that was a good move. Most of the stuff Microsoft touches though usually kind of wilts away. I hope that doesn't happen because
case in point Mixer.
Yeah, case in point Mixer. I hope the Arcane series stays alive. I really like the Arcane series. Like they record movies in 3D now. Like it's a 3D game engine, and the story behind it is amazing. Hopefully, Microsoft keeps that intact. But to your point, Sony doubled down on VR. They are kind of pushing the next evolution of headsets. They've kind of backed off because everyone's really concerned about what Apple's doing right now with the AR development. And a lot of people are like, with Oculus, like the Oculus pass-through, a lot of people have just kind of figured that out, where Oculus, you kind of have AR. What really it is it's sensors copying the real reality world and then putting them into the digital world, and then your virtual reality looking at the real world. It's super weird. It makes sense in my head. But it's not a full pass through. It's not a lens. Like you're not actually looking at the real reality world when you put on an Oculus headset. So again, to go back, I've talked about a lot of different things here to try and circle back. Sony's, I just saw an announcement that they may be pausing their VR headset development and really looking to see where the next kind of evolution of virtual reality goes. I think one of the big key things is it's not going to be just about the headset anymore. It's going to be about how the headset tracks you as a person, so that way they can get you into the virtual reality world. And that's one of the big things. So I think, yes, Sony, anybody should double down in the VR metaverse world. Like that is a thing that you should be doing right now. Hopefully you just have a good moral direction going forward. but I do think that Sony is going in the right direction, and I do think Microsoft might have. Again, I'm not too much in the headset direction, but I am very much in the 3D gaming section. So I think Microsoft might kind of beat Sony out in that question.
Okay. Waldy, I think you're muted.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I cough and I mute myself, but so and that tip, do you see more AR games coming out? And we've seen a few apps so far, like Pokemon Go, the Harry Potter was one of those. Google Lens. Do you think that the AR gaming going to pick up a little bit more momentum, or what's do you have a take on that?
So at the NetVR, so there was virtual reality, and then people didn't really talk about real reality, but it's a thing that's out there. And then they started talking about augmented reality, which in our lens, we view it as digital bits mixed with real reality. AR or the realities, we call them the 1990s realities. They've come out with MR, mixed reality, XR, extended reality, all these different kind of things. We kind of scrapped all those names and we look at it as augmented reality. Augmented reality is very difficult. Like, if you go and play Pokemon, how quickly does your phone battery die? It
dies pretty quick, because I mean, it's using multiple things on the computer or on the phone, because I mean, you're looking at, okay, it's using your camera, it's using your GPS, because it's got to read the map of where you're at. It's obviously using your speakers, so there's the sound and there's the data to stream whatever it is, to connect to the servers to send the data back and forth. So I mean, it's a pretty taxing application on there. But Pokemon Go was wildly popular, and it still is wildly popular, and you see people going crazy. They have like these weird contraptions built to bikes where there's 20 phones, and they're sitting there like doing all this crap to it, and you're just like,
it's
weird,
pretty wild too. I never really considered that. I guess I never considered that the game itself and the AR bogs down Pokemon, because I went from like a Samsung S8 Plus, which was a flagship in its day, but admittedly it was like 5 or 6 years old now, and it's just a good phone. And this the iPhone 13 Pro Max now loads so much faster and does everything so much quicker. And it's like some of that, I guess I never really considered that. Maybe it's the processing power of is pretty heavy on those augmented reality games and stuff like that. And it's a good point. So
yeah, so what we kind of found out was with augmented reality, the processing power isn't quite there yet. And so you can up the processes, but the problem is your battery life starts sinking extremely quickly. And if you think about it, your phone is trying to process real reality data and virtual reality data at the same time. That's actually what true augmented reality is it's the mix of both the realities. Computing power just isn't there yet. And so computing power is there. The problem is the power source. It consumes a lot of power to be able to chunk through the amount of data that's coming through when you're starting to augment reality. And plus, on top of that, we're trying to get to these glass fixtures where there's no space for a battery. Like there just is no space for a battery. Where are you going to put it? So I think augmented reality really is a ways off. That's really where I think AR games. I think AR games in general really are a new breed of games. Like if you think Pokemon Go, like all they did was they coordinated a GPS location and then used a camera for the augmented. Most people, when they really got serious about Pokemon Go, because I mean, I was in the trend. I was driving around in a car trying to chase. We turned the camera off, right? That kind of gets rid of the augmented reality. You really just kind of, you're still augmenting the GPS location, but full visual characteristics and precise location, things I think are just still a little ways off.
Just
The
from
next
a
new game.
just from a data efficiency, we're not quite there yet. I mean, we've come a long way on our mobile devices, on the phones and stuff, but I mean, if you really think about it, like the phones that we have today are still kind of in their infancy. It was the iPhone 3 or even the Palm Trio that really started this whole, touch screen. Let's turn our phone more into a computer than a phone. And yeah, we get told all the time from some of the old timers and stuff, oh, that phone has more technology in it than the spaceship that they used to go to the moon. And which is 100% true. And I know as a developer myself, as my day job, and a content creator, as like you said, a side hustle and everything, I can't live without my phone being on me, because I have to make sure that I'm on my Twitter, I'm on YouTube, I'm able to, it's not just a computer, it's a camcorder, it's a microphone, it's everything. And but the actual technology behind the processing chips and the graphics chips, especially the graphics chips, like we're just now getting to the point with some of the Razer phones and some of the like the new Samsung phone that's coming out, which is going to be running AMD's RDNA 2 graphics processors. Like these are like the first generations of phones that will have dedicated graphics processors in the mobile devices. So we're getting there, but like you said, it's not quite there yet. And when we get there, I think it's going to be exciting. Razer's doubled down on mobile gaming. They have their own mobile devices for gaming. So I'm excited to see where that's going to go. Who's going to compete with them to be a mobile gaming device? That's who their niche market is right now. Is gamers who are wanting to play PUBG Mobile, or gamers who are wanting to play Warzone Mobile, or competitive Candy Crush, if that's even a thing. But we're starting to see more and more mobile games, and there's a big thing going on in India right now with PUBG Mobile. Like that's like the game to play in India is PUBG Mobile. So again, like we're starting to see that technology come in, but it's not quite there yet.
100% agree. I think more than AR. So when we start talking about, I think the question originally was about AR applications and AR gaming. I see more virtual reality games, specifically in the mobile device. Like you're 100% correct. Everything's coming to these new phones. Like the games are coming to your phones. And for us as a company, that's one of our main drivers right now. Is we are trying to get to phones. People sit in their bed late at night. They get on Twitch and they watch their Twitch.
Yeah.
We just want to put that 3D space right in front of them so they can continue to watch their Twitch, but they get a couple sound bites maybe from the audience to add a little bit before they, peace out and go to bed.
Yeah, because when we talk about that too, people think a lot, Twitch is about gaming and stuff like that. But no, Twitch is really a social media, and it's a social interaction, and people are there because they want to socialize with the streamer, with the audience, with the chat, with the people. And
the biggest topic, or the biggest channel, if you will, is or the biggest category is just chatting.
Yep.
And it's people literally just sitting at their
connecting
computer,
with one another,
connecting with one another, like connecting with their chat, or we've talked about this before on the podcast, but when the hot tub meta was a thing, it started out in just chatting. We've seen it.
Still doing another hot tub stream. It's coming.
Wild has vowed to do another hot tub stream, and I think we're going to stream it on every platform that we can possible. It's going to be amazing.
I will watch 100%.
All right. So, are you seeing any other, what is the actual alternative to VR AR? What
if
you
any.
know?
Outer space. Going to Mars. I mean that's where, I mean, look at Elon Musk, right? I think, you know, he's AI VR. He's kind of scared of it. Doesn't really like it. He likes the real reality world. He's kind of done everything to figure out how to like colonize, you know, a planet with like tubes and underground and you know, figuring out solar and electricity, and figuring out different ways to harness power. But I think outer space, space travel is kind of the, once you go to a different planet, you're going to have a different reality. You're going to have different times of day. You're going to have different time, right? And that goes back to that reality concept. What's reality? Time is a constraint, and if you're at a different time, you know, Mars sols are not days; those are different times. So you're in a different reality.
Yep.
Fair enough.
All right. Interesting stuff.
And I have to bring this up, and I know I mentioned it earlier, but Ready Player One, can it actually happen? Are we starting to see kind of that kind of thing?
I do see it. I just don't see it in the equipment that in the movie Ready Player One used, right? So I see us using computers. You know, us gamers probably are going to be the leaders into the VR Ready Player, or sorry, the Ready Player One arena. You know, we have computers with the processing power, right? So you're going to be able to help someone that can't. You have the VR headsets. If you need to really get in and really do some dirty work in the virtual reality world, maybe building something, you know, in Roblox or building something in Minecraft, you know, it does help to actually get in there and get your hands dirty, get some controllers on, get fully immersed. But 9 out of 10 tasks that you'll do, you can just do on a mouse and keyboard with WASD or you know, a console controller. I got my mom in VR. Like 2 years ago, and she wouldn't get out of it. Like it was difficult, but she was so hesitant to get into it. And a lot of people kind of do that because they don't want to look foolish. But do I see Ready Player One coming? I think yes, it can happen. But really, it comes from our elder generation really fully getting in and adopting, because they sent their kids there, and the Ready Player One is coming. Kids come through and they're like, hey, I understand this area. I'm fully immersed. I'm buying digital assets. This is what's important to me. I don't need a car, or I don't need to get a driver's license. But really, it's getting the parents in it and creating a collective sustained society. And I think that's really where Ready Player One will come from, is once we can get to the sustainability of, you know, people jump into the virtual reality world right now and they love the anonymity. I can't say that word.
Yeah.
Anonymity.
Anonymity.
Anonymity. Yep.
There we go.
Yeah. We'll edit it in. It'll be seamless.
But it really that's something that needs to get solved. That's a problem to get solved, to get to that Ready Player One arena. And I really think it comes from, you know, the elder generations being like, hey, like, don't say that just because you're anonymous. Like that's not appropriate. That's not okay. Like, because I mean, kids get on and they're anonymous and they start screaming some terrible stuff. I mean, PUBG had to basically get rid of, you know, all chat. I loved the plain all chat.
China number one.
It was.
Name a better place in the virtual reality world than a PUBG airplane.
I couldn't resist yelling.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
Okay, fair enough.
So I you know, we talk about Ready Player One, but for me, I think we're almost there. I mean, what at its core, what is Ready Player One? It's an MMO virtual reality world. We have games like that already, like VR chat and stuff like that. Like that's kind of like the foundation of Ready Player One. And you know, if VR chat really buckled down, the developers really buckled down, they could build a huge world. Now, I think the negative that would come out of that, and I don't know how familiar you are with the movie and whatnot, but you know, they have that company called IOI where they're the bad guys. So, you know, there's people that are looking to profit off of, you know, people's gaming addiction, and that's the scary part. Like that could potentially happen, and you know, I hope it doesn't, but the core there is like the foundation for it is there. I believe it's just, like I said, it's just an MMO with multiple game modes in it, if you will, right?
You're right. I can't add much to that. I mean, you really are right. I think we talked about it earlier that yeah, it's yes.
So we've kind of been in the same circle of friends off, you know, for many years now, just because of the games that we play. You know, we've met each other on the battlegrounds multiple times. We have friends that cross over and whatnot. You know, and it all stems around PUBG and battlegrounds and stuff like that. And you know, just tell me, like, what are you playing now? Like, what's got your juices pumping?
I mean, we met at PUBG, right? And I think
Mhm.
Susan, our COO, she still plays PUBG, and I think she's probably one of the main females that kind of runs that game still. Is that
I think well, she's in league now, but she was playing earlier.
she's always playing. She's always in there. I moved over. So Battle Royale, a new company,
GG.
GG super people. They came out with super people, and they took all of the Battle Royale mechanics from PUBG. So I got to move over. And currently, I think we're ranked world #1. We're in hot pursuit with some of the other lead content creators, but I've aged. You know, the elite gamers, I think, are in their 20 to 20 teens, late teens, early
16 to what, 24 or something like that.
Yeah, are your elite gamers. So, you know, I'm pushing, you know, late 30s here. But so we got to use our brains, and
Mhm.
super people actually allowed us to be able to use our brains. So, you know, PUBG's you got to be real smart. Super people, you got to be a little smarter because they added the crafting and stuff. But it's been super fun. It's a cool new game. It's a new battle royale. We'll see if it replaces, I think, PUBG. We'll see what the devs can do. We'll see. It's been fun. It's been fun. But we were ranked #1 last night. We've been ranked, you know, up back and forth #1 in solos. But it's been fun.
So if somebody wants to watch you and your content, how can they find you?
I mean, I do my own on the side, I guess, to the NetVR's side hustle. I also have my own content because we are content creators. Raider RC Live on Twitch. If you want to stop by and ask me any VR questions or just come banter about life, I'm always open for it. We're still looking for a word for our real reality perspective. We call it RR, real reality. Some of the guys have called it base reality. I think that's another hot topic to call. Like, hey, what is it when we're not plugged in to the computer and everything else? What do we call that reality?
Normie life.
Normie life.
Normie life.
So, okay, normie NL. So
married life. I don't know. I'm married, so you know, married life. Tied down. Who knows? It's all the same.
Yeah, we're still looking for that word. So yeah, stop by and help us out. We are searching. So it's a collective whole. So it's a collective whole. We're trying to, back to our goals and aspirations. We're really trying to focus on bringing people back together. You know, I don't want to blame things on you know, the past sicknesses and COVID and not being able to connect, but the virtual reality world connects us much more efficiently than the real reality world. I'm not going to burn, you know, a plane flight come to your house. You know, it's much more efficient. I can just jump on and
I mean, hell, the company I work for is based out of San Jose, California. You know, I work for a tech company, and you know, I live here in Texas, and you know, thank goodness for this, you know, quote unquote metaverse or virtual reality, because it allows me to have a decent paying job, doing something that I absolutely love, that I don't have to travel to. I don't have to leave my house. and it gives me time to and gives me the ability to talk to awesome people like you when I'm not when I'm not busy, and shoot ideas and shoot the shit. And outside of the NetVR and stuff, we're fairly good friends. We bounce business ideas off of each other, and marketing ideas, because I work in marketing and whatnot. So it's I have more friends, way more friends through a PC. And my wife hates this. She's like, you talk to so many people, but you've never met them. And that's the world that we live in today. We have people in our BTU community that are in New Zealand and Australia and Thailand, and of course half of them are in Canada, and then strung out all over the United States as well. So we're a global community, brought together by pretty much one game, being PUBG. And nothing else can really say that it's responsible for that. There's nothing else other than virtual reality / metaverse that can say this has brought billions of people together. It's brought families from other sides of the world back together that wouldn't be able to do. I mean, you have those Facebook commercials and stuff, that with the device that they have with the camera and whatnot. It's the same concept. Zoom is virtual reality or metaverse.
Yep.
Discord, virtual reality, metaverse. People only want to think of the gaming or the headset version of it, but it's really, and you had mentioned this earlier, it's really anything that sends digital signal to and from different people.
Amazon.com is virtual reality shopping.
Oh yeah. So it's crazy, and I think once people get that definition in their head, that anything that you do online, if you're connected to the internet, that's virtual reality. And I think if we can help push that definition, it'll help grow the VR community even more, right? Because now we're not laser focused in on a visual aspect. It's the whole emotional feeling around it.
100%. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. That it is exactly what it is. There's so much opportunity in the virtual reality world. Just you got to embrace it. I think one of the biggest things is, if you really hate it, or hey, stop the screen time, get off the screen time, like, hang on, you might actually be a little bit of the problem, because there's people making real connections in the virtual reality space. Yeah, I mean, our story on our side of virtual reality, my real reality kind of fell apart, and I fell back deep into gaming and built my community. We all went to TwitchCon together, in 2020, kind of came up with the company development, or 2019, I guess was the last time TwitchCon came around.
Yeah.
But we had a little family. Like, we basically built, kind of stragglers, and, then we met in the real reality world. And it was so weird to go from this virtual reality meeting to the real world meeting.
It's like, I don't feel like you're a stranger because I talk to you every single day, but this is the first time we're meeting. Like, I've had some of those instances with, like, some of the people in the BTU community, and like, I was in San Jose, and one of our buddies, Kermit, he works in San Jose, lives in Vegas, but he flies to San Jose, for a week every month or something like that. And we met up, and we're like, this is awkwardly not awkward, if that makes sense. Like, awkwardly.
My best buddy, one of my best buddies, we just went out ice fishing this weekend. I met him playing COD, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2, actually the original Black Ops, and we were just friends, and I'm friends online, and it's like, hey, we should meet up, and now we go out fishing every year, and we get together once in a while. He still lives in South Dakota, and I still live in Minnesota, but
the power of the virtual reality world, like, that is one huge, really, really cool concept that the virtual reality world has, that we need to be able to bring our youngsters in through and make sure that they're really focused. You know, there's a lot of negatives that can come out of the virtual reality world, but we really need the real reality people that are stuck there and they're like, hey, virtual reality is stupid, like gaming's stupid, to like pause, come back, and like really help build this. Because again, these virtual reality, they're real. They're real friendships. They're real.
And
They
it's
are
not just
real.
gaming. It's not just gaming. Like, you know,
you're right.
I can, you know, Wild's a little bit older than me, but I consider him like a brother. We have a core group of guys in the BTU community that we consider our brothers, that we would go out of our way and help. And we've gone out of our way to help, you know, other members of the community. You know, one example comes up where a guy had literally 2 Titans in his computer, and they both burned up within the course of a month. And yeah, and you know, and he didn't have the means at the time to replace those, but he still wanted to try to keep gaming because this was his getaway from his normal life, right? This is what made him happy at the end of the day and help him go to sleep at night. So, you know, we band together, and we had some people that had like an extra graphics card, and you know, we shipped it out to him. You know, one of the guys from Canada tried to buy him one, but there was a whole customs issue. But, you know, long story short, you know, the community ended up providing him a graphics card just so we could have him back, not just playing games with us, but hanging out with us, you know, on the game. It's not just playing games, it's hanging out with a group of people.
And I'll tell you what, the thing that kind of hurts me too is like people will just fall off the planet Earth, you know, on the Discord, and I don't, and there's a lot of people in the Discord. I only know in the Discord. I have some Facebook friends, you know, and some of the people follow me on some of my social medias, but man, it kind of hurts when, you know, someone just, they're gone, you know, and like, you know, there'd be some people I haven't talked to for a while, and I'll shoot people a message, hey, how you doing? You know, because it's like, God, they're, you know, it's like they might not have been like the tightest person, but like we're always open to people coming in and joining, and like we're not cliquey, and I think for a lot of people that have been hanging out with us, you know, like I think they find, you know, with the times that, you know, you could have some of that normality because you can have your normal friends to jump into, or kind of a good group of people to jump into and maybe get a razzing and have some fun times and stuff like that. So
yeah, I'll be honest, I've told some of the guys my deepest, darkest secrets that, you know, I wouldn't normally tell anybody, but, you know, at times we're like, you know, who's to say that we're ever going to meet? So it's like, you know, it's this total stranger knowing it, and they're not going to tell anybody that, you know, so, you know, whatever. Yeah. But we're at the same time, we're also trying to plan a get together in Vegas where everybody meets up, and we just have this massive, like, we're going to rent out a gaming, the big HyperX gaming arena that's there in Vegas, and have like 30 guys in there just shooting the shit, playing PUBG and getting drunk. And yeah, I mean, what's different about that than any other night for a lot of us, except, you know, we're there physically and virtually with the group of people that we hang out with pretty much on a daily basis. So it's going to be awesome.
Let's wrap this in now. Let's wrap this up then a little bit here. We'll pull this into the banter a little bit, and we'll just talk to Kyle here about a little bit about what's your state of PUBG? What's your state of Super People?
We already
how you feeling that streaming right now?
We already went there while you were having the
yeah, sorry, Wild. I think
right. That's fine. That's fine.
I just tried to keep it going.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We can.
Wild, I love Super People though. You got to give it a try.
Yeah, I've played it. I can't get anyone else. Like no one.
I have PUBG's
it downloaded. Up, then everyone plays PUBG.
I have it downloaded. We just need to get on and do it. So
it's okay. I'll tell you this real quick. The crafting is weird, but all the mechanics are the exact same.
Yeah,
which I love.
As long as it's not Fortnite.
It's not Fortnite. It's not Fortnite. It's PUBG. Like it's PUBG, but the time to kill is a little bit longer. So some people kind of like hate that initially, but you can still get your headshot domers in there. You can still the people's powers. It adds a new little element to the game, and it mixes the game up instead of just always being the same. And they're not too overpowered. Some of them are, but
yeah,
you know, game balance will kick that mechanic back.
Yeah,
But
hopefully.
I give it. It took me a second to get back into, but the graphics are cleaner. The
It runs better at the end. At the
yeah,
end
it
of the
runs
day, like
better.
Well,
like
it doesn't. I don't think they try to be as realistic, and I think that probably saves a lot of resources.
probably.
It could. It could. It could.
So that's going to be it for this episode, guys. We want to thank Kyle for stopping by and talking VR and metaverse with us. Next week, we'll talk about Jessica Blevins starting to move away from managing Ninja, and Google might be shutting down Stadia. So thank you guys for listening in. Consider our Patreon to support the podcast, and by going to merch.agamingmoment.com and picking up some of that awesome merch like our super warm hoodies. Still relatively cold. It's starting to warm up. Or you can pick up one of the sweet visors if you're watching the live stream of the podcast. We have these sweet visors that you can order as well. Subscribe to us on your favorite podcasting platform. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review of the podcast. Also, check back weekly for the next episode. And until next time, guys, keep grinding.